Good morning. And welcome to Unity Displays, which is a positive path for spiritual living. My name is Jean Boston, and I will be serving as your platform assistant today. So if you could please take a moment to silence your cell phones, we appreciate it. And now I invite you to stand as you are able and join us in our opening song.
Join us in singing The Face of God.
Did you look at all the faces of God in here? This week we are blessed again to have Reverend Bruce Moore as our speaker. His talk title is "It Is What I Make It." And we'd like to welcome and thank our musicians for being with us today. Our ever wonderful Tatiana. And as always, our singer, Bruce. And our chaplains.
Good morning. My name is Mary Ellen.
And I'm Gail.
And we are your prayer chaplains today. And we invite any of you who might need any type of prayer just to stay in the sanctuary after our service, and we will be happy to pray with you. So if you would join us now in reading our vision. Our vision is to empower an evolving consciousness that spirituality transforms the world through an awakening oneness. And then our invocation, I am now in the presence of pure being and immersed in the Holy Spirit of life, love, and wisdom. I acknowledge your presence and your power, O blessed Spirit. In your divine wisdom, now erase my human limitations, and from your pure substance of love, bring into manifestation my world according to your perfect law.
Amen.
Thank you.
We would like to give a heartfelt welcome to our newcomers. If this is your first time here, please raise your hand and keep it raised. Anyone here for the first time? Yay, she came in at the right time. Is that divine order or what? So our usher is going to bring you a welcome packet, and it has information about our church and a little contact card that we ask that you take to the bookstore and receive your free gift. And if you notice, the front of that is done by our children from our children's church. And please join us for fellowship down the hallway there for coffee and tea. And I heard there's some good food there today. You came the right day. And we'd love to get to know you. So now is our daily word. And the daily word for today is joy. I feel joyous as I celebrate life. I feel joyous as I celebrate life. Each new day is a treasure filled with life's gems found in even the most ordinary moments. Joy fills my heart when I pause to notice the wonder that surrounds me. I let my gaze linger as I watch the setting sun, or close my eyes as I savor the sweetness of fresh fruit or a beautiful flower. Beneath the night sky, I breathe deeply and partake of the fresh, clean air. The beauty of the world pales in comparison to the beauty that's within me. I am so deeply and wonderfully blessed to know my oneness with God and with all that is. There is no greater joy. I wake and praise each new day and feel newly alive. I go out into the world to share the joy of being a child of God in the abundant universe. I spread light and love to everyone I meet, trusting that they will know the joy of God as I do. For you, O Lord, have made me glad by your work. At your works with your hands I sing for joy. Psalm 92:4. Now, let's prepare for our meditation song by singing
Our thoughts are prayers. Our thoughts are prayers, and we are always praying. Our thoughts are prayers. Listen to what you're saying. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and know that God is always there. And every thought becomes a prayer. Oh, this morning, what a lovely morning. Today I ask you to join me in a little visualization. We carry with us a lot of things in our hearts and in our minds, whether we're aware of them or not. They weigh us down. So today I'd like for us to stay here in this quiet place and breathe gently, if you like. And I'd like to invite you now to imagine yourself in the safe place within you, that place that is eternal and never changes. That is that presence of God, that is your true self. And right now, imagine yourself surrounded by light. And it can be any color you want it to be. Whatever soothes you. It can be a bright white light, a beautiful pink, or brilliant emerald green or blue. Whatever that light is that brings you to a place of peace. Feel yourself surrounding by it. And now I'd like to invite you to visualize God, divine spirit, the forces of the universe, gently picking you up by your feet, and very gently and lovingly turning you upside down. And the light of the universe, of God, of divine spirit, flows from your feet to your shins and your knees, through your thighs and hips, your back and your belly, your shoulders and your chest, through your arms that hang freely, and your neck, and your head and face, and finally the crown of your head, so that below you there is a great circle of light emanating through spirit, through you, as you, onto the floor below. Just hang here a moment. Try not to be afraid of being upside down. Spirit has you, as Spirit has always had you. And now, take a breath. Another trusting breath. And very gently invite whatever power holds you by your feet to give you a little shake, just a little bit. And out of all the hidden pockets in your body and in your mind, things start to drop out, like change out of pockets and pins out of shirt pockets. Just very, very gently, all this stuff starts falling out. And it is all the negativity that you carry. Gently identify it as it slips out quickly out of your body, out of your mind, whatever it may be. See the anger go. And there goes envy. There goes disrespect for myself. There goes jealousy. There goes hopelessness. Imagine it going, all the negativity going, lying on the floor, circled by that great light emanating from you. Anger, jealousy, laziness, fogginess, whatever it may be. One last shake. Clink, clink, there it goes. All out. And very gently, Spirit just very gently puts you back on your feet. And you and Spirit looks at this pile there, through you and as you, all there. See it. Now the fun part, because now you and Spirit takes a great big rolling pin with handles on the side. You take one of those handles, you raise it up, if you'd like to, and hit it. And hit it again, and again, and again. All those negative things that have been falling out of your pocket just now. Hit it. Again, nice and hard. Boom, 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 boom. Back and forth. Back and forth. Crushing it. and suddenly realizing how fragile this negativity is without being attached to you. Oh, how wonderful. And then invite yourself in spirit to take both handles of that rolling pin and just roll it across that brokenness and all that. Roll it across. Smaller and smaller pieces. One more time. Take that rolling pin and hit it again. And see it as nothing but powder. All that negativity. That's not real. It's not it's fragile without you, without leeching onto you. And now, take a big deep breath, if you like, and blow it all away. All that powder. And it's gone. And feel right here in this moment the lightness of that. How light you feel without all that weighing you down. It's just for this moment. Light and feel light. So it is. So let it be. Amen. And so it is. And so This song is an old hymn, not necessarily written by a hymn writer, but he got some transcendental ideas, and I'd like to share them with you today. This song is an old song. It's written by Alice Hawthorne, but it wasn't Alice who wrote it. It was actually a guy who wrote it. That was his synonym. Didn't want to be known as a hymn writer. But listen to this voice, this whispering hope. Soft as the voice of an angel, breathing a lesson unheard. Hope with a gentle persuasion
remembered it today. Last time I was here, I forgot to print out my lesson, and I had to do it on the fly. But hey, you never know it. So, thank you. My name is Bruce, and thank you so much for letting me come again today. I really appreciate it. It's very kind of you. And thanks. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much. It's kind of cool today, but hey, it's May, and we're very thankful for that. Yesterday was Derby Day. It was a great race. Did y'all see? Yes. Oh yeah, it was a great race. For Star Wars fans, yesterday was May the 4th. That was really exciting. And then next week is Mother's Day, and then comes Memorial Day. But Mark asked me to speak in June, and I said I can't speak in June because I am rehearsals and performances for 1776. So I hope y'all will come and see it right here in Des Plaines at the Prairie Lakes Theater, right there at Prairie Lakes over there. So y'all come and see it. I will leave this with somebody. And do you mind putting that up? Thank you so much. Yeah, so I am not available in June, but thinking about it, I really was thinking about, well, if I could, just all the things that are happening in the summer, and I thought, it's an exciting time, summer. So much is going on. But my favorite part about summer is that in the theaters, movie theaters, we have all the sequels in the summer. Now this year we have, and I had to look it up, this year we have Despicable Me 4, Inside Out 2, Deadpool and Wolverine. I love Deadpool. Twisters with an S, A Quiet Place, Day One, etc. Those kind. So it's a time of sequels. The real quality movies don't come out in the summer. You're not in the mood to sit and contemplate something serious. The quality movies come out toward the end of the year, just in time for the Oscars. So you're not really, it's kind of a throwaway kind of time for mindless action movies and sequels, things like that. So people are generally distracted. So I thought that's very appropriate that Father's Day should come at such a time. Because Father's Day is the less than critically acclaimed summer sequel to Mother's Day. Mother's Day, that we're celebrating next week, was declared a holiday in 1914. When did Father's Day become an official holiday? 60 years later. In 1972, and Richard Nixon, of all people, is the one who declared it a national holiday. A recent article in the Arizona Republic supports this idea that Father's Day is a sequel. I mean, it's just a sequel to Mother's Day. The article is entitled, "Dad Doesn't Measure Up to Mom on His Special Day." The article states that Father's Day is well behind Mother's Day in the consumer spending department. According to a recent survey, an overwhelming 86% of Americans surveyed say that they spend more money on mom than on dad. And just over half of respondents say they don't plan on celebrating Father's Day at all. Some dads may want to shrug it off, by saying, the gifts for men are cheaper or less expensive than they are for women. But the article went on to say that many mothers, they want to, I don't know, but this is what the article says. The article says that many mothers want to get dressed up, maybe taken out to eat, while men just want to stay home and be free to sit around, eat pizza, and watch TV in their underwear. You got to have those perfect days once in a while. Father's Day is the type of day that kind of sneaks up on you. What do you do with the day? For my generation, fathers were often in the background. They were behind the camera taking pictures, or they were just at work all day. The writer, Irma Bombeck, I don't know if any of you, the writer Irma Bombeck wrote this about her father. She said, "When I was a kid, a father was like a light in the refrigerator. Everyone had one, but nobody knew what either of them did once the door was shut." She said, "My dad left the house every morning and always seemed glad to see everyone at night. He opened the jars of pickles when nobody else could. He was the only one in the house who wasn't afraid to go into the basement by himself. He cut himself shaving, but no one kissed it or got excited about it. It was understood whenever it rained, he got the car and brought it around to the door. When anyone was sick, he got the prescription filled. He set the mouse traps, cut the roses to the thorns, and cut the grass. When I got a bike, he ran alongside me for at least 1,000 miles until I got the hang of it. I was afraid of everyone else's dad but my own. Once I made him tea. It was only sugar water, but he sat on a small chair and said it was delicious. Whenever I played house, the mother doll had a lot to do. I never knew what to do with a daddy doll. So I had him say, 'I'm going off to work now,' and threw him under the bed. When I was 9 years old," she writes, "my father didn't get up one morning and go to work. He went to the hospital and died the next day. I went to my room and felt under my bed for the daddy doll. When I found him, I dusted him off and put him on my bed. He never did anything. I didn't know his leaving would hurt so much. I still don't know why. I know that when I was a child, I didn't know what my dad did for a living. He used to tell us he was going to work to make some bread. And he meant money, of course. But as kids, we really thought he made bread. And he used to laugh at us when we said to him, 'Daddy, when are you going to bring some bread home for us?' Now, this is not a new phenomenon that we're talking about here today. We find this also in the Bible, especially in the story of Mary, Joseph, and Jesus. Look at Joseph. What was his main job? No. His main job was transportation. Joseph took Mary to Bethlehem. Then later he took Mary and Jesus to Egypt. And then he took Mary and Jesus out of Egypt and back to Nazareth and back and forth. And he took them to the temple in Jerusalem. And what did he do for a living? Well, do we really know for sure? We actually don't. Some scholars suggest that he was a carpenter like Jesus, but we aren't sure. Maybe Jesus thought Joseph made bread. I don't know. And what about Joseph and Mary during the crucifixion story? What about them during the crucifixion story? What about them? Oh, wait, Joseph wasn't there. Yeah, in fact, after Jesus was 12 years old, we never hear Joseph again. He disappears, never to be seen again or heard of again. It's almost as if Joseph finished carting everybody around and they were through with him. When I officiate for a wedding, I usually attend the rehearsal, and it's normally like herding cats, but we rehearse walking down the aisle and putting everybody in order, and I make sure they know where they stand. And when the bride and her dad come down the aisle, I have the groom step out, shake hands with the father of the bride, and then the father bride gives the bride a kiss and then gives her hand to the groom's hand and all that. And every time I do a rehearsal, every time, the dad just stands there. And he says, well, what do you want me to do now? And I'll say, we're through with you. Isn't that terrible? That's a terrible thing to say to you. But I do. I say, we're done with you. Go sit down. Just keep writing those checks. The idea of fathers have taken some really hard knocks, in the past few years. The benign neglect that I experienced pales next to the abuse that others have experienced from their fathers. So Father's Day is not always a sentimental time. Even father figures, especially those from Catholic backgrounds, have felt betrayed by ongoing revelations of abuse. And so we don't know what to do with it. And so for some of us, celebrating fatherhood is not easy or not even a consideration. My dad had a stroke in 2013. He lived for another 18 months. But he didn't have paralysis, but it left him with a condition called aphasia. And aphasia means that you speak, but nothing makes sense. He thought he was talking, but he was saying words, but it was all mixed up. And you know how it is with parents. They'll tell you the story for the 1,000th time, and as they're telling the story, you silently mouth the words. We moved into this house July 4th, 1964, and yeah, I know it was a hot and muggy day, and you had to borrow Uncle George's truck, and the radiator overflowed or overheated and boiled over. I know, but however, once he had that aphasia, he couldn't tell those stories anymore. It was an interest, and I suddenly realized all that oral history was gone, and it really made me sad. We might be too hard on dads, or our expectations may be too high. We might think that because they didn't parent us in the way that we expected him to, that maybe they failed in some way. And just like to invite you, and I know this is a very tricky, but I'd like to invite you to maybe think that the problem we have with our fathers and with that history is not them necessarily, although there are some very serious issues, but us. Us. As independent as we think we are, we still have a fundamental need for nurture. Is it realistic for us to expect nurturing to come from one specific person? How often do I reject nurturing from other sources and demand that it only come from one, and grieve that it only did not come from the one that I needed? Webster's dictionary defines nurture as to feed and protect, to nurture one's offspring, to support and encourage as during the period of training or development, to bring up, to train, to educate. I'm sure many of you understand and realize that nurturing comes from many places, not just from one person. God expresses as many people as possible. Can we, as we look forward to Father's Day, accept that what we can from our fathers, but also to be open, receptive to nurturing from all sources, and have the grace to change our minds? The Unity professor down at Unity Village, his name is Dr. Paul Hasselbeck. I'm sure some of you have taken classes with him. He wrote a wonderful book a few years ago called Get Over It. Have anybody read that one? Okay. Get it if you can, because it'll kind of blow things out of the water for you, but that's okay. He wrote, but he's a wonderful teacher, a Unity teacher, and he's in metaphysics, and he has some wonderful things to say. But when we think about the situations that we've had in our life with nurturing, with our fathers, with our parents, and other people in our life, we often say, it is what it is. And I'd like to invite you to consider something a little different than that phrase. Because this phrase assumes that whatever is happening in our lives is what is happening in our lives. It prompts us to rationalize that we might as well get used to just the way it is. As if everything that is happening as it is supposed to be happening. So stay with me, please. Please, I invite you to. And yes, it is what it is. And I'd like to invite you to consider that that is not the end of it. Folks, the good news of Charles and Merle Fillmore, what they had to say through metaphysics, through unity, the good news that we have is we do not have to stay stuck with what we have. Just because it is what it is. Nor are things happening as they are supposed to happen. Because this kind of thinking, it is what it is, this type of thinking keeps us stuck and mired up in a continuing surrender of our power. And those of you who have studied the 12 powers set out by Charles and Merle Fillmore, as many of you have, they are powerful, powerful, powerful. And so Paul Hasselbeck suggests to us that in saying it is what it is, to say this, it is what I call it. So say that with me real quick. Say, just for a moment, say it is what it is. It is what it is. Now say, it is what I call it. It is what I call it. How does that feel? You think it feels stronger? Feel better? Because you have that. That is yours. That is that power that is within you. Just as we had in the meditation, we have the power through the Spirit of the universe, through the Spirit of the universe, through God, whatever you want to call it, to invite that cleansing, because we can do that. We don't have to carry that around all the time. We have choices. That's the gospel about, that's the theology of unity, and the gospel of unity is that we have choices. And we can decide how we want to see it, and we can decide on what we want to call it. Those of you who were here last month, I talked about how important it is to name something, to name it. We talked about Jacob wrestling with whoever he was wrestling with. I invited you to consider that he was wrestling with himself. And until he came to that point where he could name what was happening and receive a new name, then he had the power to move forward. So we have that power to call it. It is what I call it. I think was it yesterday? Maybe Friday, Laurel and I were discussing something, and I was getting caught up in my spinning, and I thought, wait a minute, no, I have a choice here. How do I want to respond? Do I want to call it, do I want to just say this is it, or do I want to call it something else? Which brings us out of the loops that we put ourselves in and the way that we confine ourselves to what we think it should be. It is what I call it. The truth, and that's a T with a capital T, is that whatever is in our life is affected by what we name it or call it. We have, and this is Hasselbeck quoting, he said, we have dominion, and dominion is one of those Fillmore powers, 12 powers. Dominion, and what that means is we have control over whatever is in our lives. Not necessarily what is happening to us, but we have control over what is in our mind through the power of our mind. If we call something bad, we treat it bad and find more reasons to call it bad. If we call something good, we find good in it or create good out of the situation. And this places the power where it always has been, where it always will be, at the point of us. Let it sink in. Place the power where it always has been, where it always will be, at the point of us. The Apostle Paul invites us to put away childish things and see ourselves and our lives from oneness and from the power of that realization, the power of that realization to put away those childish things is what he calls it, to take ownership of our lives from oneness so that we can find a way to conduct our lives, to move our thoughts about the past, so that we can choose to remember our Father's Day in a way that is through oneness. It is what I call it. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate it. Thank you. Amen. Thank you. Thank you.
Like every snowflake, every fingerprint, you are unique in who you are. Become yourself, your own true self, one of a kind, like every star. Compare yourself to anyone. You are a special work of art. Become yourself, your own true self. Become the one within your heart. Listen to the voice deep within you that calls you to follow your dream. Listen to the song that sings inside you and join the melody. You bear the music others may not bear. You feel the rhythm of your own.
Bruce. That was beautiful. Like a beautiful spring day. All right, this is the time in our service to share your offerings and your tithes with Unity Displays. We thank those here in the room today, and for those of you who are watching later, for your generous support. And because of you, our doors are open, our church needs are being met, and we are so grateful. As our ushers come forward, please hold your gift in your hand and recite our offering prayer together. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God, and so it is.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I am. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
We honor and welcome all contributions, time, talent, and treasure. If you have time or a talent to contribute, please let a board member know how you would like to become more involved. For monetary contributions, in addition to the Sunday collection checks, can be mailed to us. Donations can be made online, and you are encouraged to set up automatic giving. See the bulletin insert for more details. These lovely pulpit flowers were donated this week by me. Because I am so grateful for my husband, Mark. For how well he took care of me when I had my broken foot. And to celebrate him because tomorrow's his birthday. Happy birthday, Mark. It says it right here. To you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Mark. Happy birthday to you. So now for those little tidbits you guys like to hear about. The YOU Super Sunday fundraiser is happening today in our fellowship. Please join us to help the youth. Let's try again. Please join us to buy a bowl or a quart of soup after service and support our teens' trip to Unity Village International Teen Event. Wow, that's a lot. God, it used to just be called YOU Conference. But I'll tell you this much, guys, as a former YOUer, there is nothing like the opportunity to go down to Unity Village as a teen. Just nothing like it. So please help them. Your love donation is always appreciated. And our good friend Chris Selvik is still facilitating the Unleash Your Peace, a look into the untethered soul class, tomorrow night, May 6th at 7 p.m. And then if you haven't heard, Unity of Fox Valley, which is down there in Batavia, is presenting Daniel Namad Sunday, May 19th at Fox Valley Unity, 12:30 spiritual workshop, 6 p.m. is the concert time. And if you haven't already received the Unity Displays weekly e-blast, you may sign up on the website or the church email. And then finally, Mark made certain I said this. Did you guys notice how beautifully our grounds are? We had our spring cleanup yesterday. So if you were part of that crew, I know some of you are here because I saw your name on the list. If you could please stand so we can congratulate you. It is because of volunteers like you that we are able to have the church that we have today. So now let's go ahead and sing in our children because they're waiting for us.
We're so happy to have such a wonderful group of kids and teens today. And while let the teens tell you about all the special stuff out there waiting for you. But let me just say, you gotta try my husband's Italian sausage bean and pasta soup. Multi-band. The little kids today, we are still continuing to watch the King of Egypt, the Prince of Egypt movie about Moses, and we're just about to where the sea's gonna part. Don't tell them though. Okay.
Okay, so today we're doing a little bit of a fundraiser for IY. We have all these different fun soups that people were so kind to bring in. Love offerings are very appreciated, and I recommend that you guys get around, try all the good soups. We also have some cookies and baked goods. Alex can elaborate in a minute, but I also have a special announcement that Alex is going to be our Regie next year. He was installed. So he'll be kind of in charge of like creating the retreats and just like more involved in the Great Lakes region. So that's very exciting. He was installed this last weekend.
It's an officer.
Yeah, it's an officer. So very exciting.
So I'm very excited to take that on. Plan the retreats that we go to all the time. But yeah, about the soup sale, Kira baked us a whole bunch of cookies, so you can take as many cookies as you want. We have bread, we have like 12 soups, we have everything you could imagine. So come stop by, it's pay what you can. Yeah.
Also, please do not worry if you do not have money to put in there. We'll accept your blessing. Everyone is invited to come back. Everybody. And also, we have soup to go. We have containers. If you'd like to take some home, we have so much soup. You might want to take some home, stick them in the freezer, and then you'll be set for the next cool evening when you need some soup. Okay, now let's stand, sing, and pray.